In the margins of an old family record, a single note carries a date: 1865, free. Beneath it is a staggering figure: 40 million slaves. For generations, millions of people were recorded as property rather than family. Their histories were replaced by numbers in plantation ledgers, leaving a massive gap where their stories should be. But within those records, two specific names survived. Annie Simmons and Owen O. Simmons were both born into bondage in the late 1850s. When emancipation finally arrived, Annie was 9 and Owen was only 7. They entered a new world with nothing but their names and a will to survive. The survival of these two children is the reason this entire family exists. Their lives prove that a lineage can build a future, even when they start with nothing. Their children formed a bridge between eras. Though they were born free, they had to navigate a landscape defined by black codes and the rise of Jim Crow. Survival was precarious. The family records capture the reality of infant mortality during this time, marking the loss of baby Ida at age 1 and Clara at age 3. While some lives were cut short, others demonstrated remarkable endurance. Callista Simmons lived for 82 years, witnessing the world transform around her. Born in 1880 while horse-drawn carriages were still the standard, Callista lived long enough to see the arrival of the jet age and the assassination of President Kennedy in 1963. Matriarch Susie Simmons reached the age of 90. To get there, she had to physically survive the 1918 flu pandemic and 2 world wars. This generation's achievement was their physical persistence. They absorbed the difficulties of the past to secure a foothold for the children that followed. The family's growth accelerated with the marriage of Jessie Simmons and Edward Daids. Between 1914 and 1937, they had 10 children. This large fourth generation had to sustain themselves through the economic collapse of the Great Depression. The branch started by Annette Callista Daids shows how quickly the lineage expanded. Although she died at 34, she triggered a massive growth in the family tree. Her 3 daughters, Marlene, Beverly, and Lois, became the origins of the Spady, Brantley, and Cotton Moore lines. Within a few decades, those 3 branches multiplied into dozens of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. For a family that began as property, freedom was proven by the undeniable multiplication of their bloodline. By the mid-20th century, the family had grown so large that its members were direct participants in the era's global conflicts. This document is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. William Henry Simmons lived long enough to see its passage, dying just 8 months after the law was signed. While some died young, others were pillars of longevity. Robert Haljock Simmons lived to be 92, witnessing the arrival of the modern political era. Connecting these individual lifespans creates a continuous flesh and blood timeline of the American century. The records move from the anonymous, unrecorded births of the 1850s to the detailed chronological history of the 1980s and 90s. The modern generation carries names like Zukia, Daniel, Aisha, and Tyrone. Documenting these names and their specific dates is the direct opposite of being property. For the Simmons and Daids family, genealogy is a profound act of defiance against being forgotten. It's a commitment to ensuring their history is preserved. It requires looking back at the founding generation and the history they survived just to make the current generation possible. Their survival was the down payment for your existence. This history is your legacy. Guard it.